Well, after a 2-week reprieve where we saw an incredible run-up in stocks, the crushing of stocks just continued again this past week. We also have all signs pointing towards inflation coming in hot once again, and the Fed is getting more and more hawkish by the day, and now we have the real estate market seemingly teetering as well on disaster. Will this all send us on another 3-month bloodbath that will take stocks to new lows after new lows? Well, I have an urgent warning for you as an investor, but I will also tell you exactly what I'm doing about it as well. I just ask in exchange for you to gently tap that like button and consider subscribing too. It's super easy to do. So here are some of the biggest mistakes investors are making right now today. Number 1, you are making investing decisions based on emotions. I mean, if you have that sinking feeling when you see red day after red day, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Number 2, you still have not done a full due diligence on the stocks you own, which leads me to mistake number 3. You are jumping from video to video on YouTube hoping someone will give you the right answer to should you buy or should you sell and at what price and all that good stuff. This is a recipe for destruction of your portfolio. But there is a solution to avoid that destruction, and it's for everyone. I mean, people with $1,000 accounts all the way up to 7-figure accounts, as proven by the over 1,000 members who are part of the Market Insider's private group, which is the ultimate wealth building community full of people like you, changing their financial futures, and the sale ends tomorrow to lock in your discounted price. We have over 100 different tutorials and lessons for you to take to avoid those mistakes, learn how to plan and do evaluation, and it's also where we have lessons on mastering your money, building up passive income, and retiring early and becoming financially independent, and we even have a real estate course in development now. And you are not only helping yourself and your family build a better future, but you are also helping others in need, as half of everything right off the top goes to charity. So don't make those mistakes. Make yourself a better investor today using the link in the pinned comment for all the details and to lock in your discount. All right, so let's start with a warning first and then what you can do about it. So did everything I mentioned at the open about the Fed, inflation, the housing market, about the crash, and many other topics, to be honest, are they all going to happen? Well, the truth is, it is possible. But the other truth is also the warning I want to give you guys today, and that is this. The fear, noise, and intensity of the message are going to get worse over the next few weeks and carry into the next rate hike cycle and carry into the earnings season. It will be far scarier out there than it should be, and you are going to hear it everywhere. If you decide to fall into the fear and listen to the noise, you are going to make mistakes, you're going to miss opportunities, and ultimately you will be left with a lot of regret. You are in for some real pain. So how the heck do you avoid the pain and thrive in this environment? Well, first, you must ignore the noise. I mean, seriously, stop watching videos, reading articles, and all those other videos out there saying it's going to crash 50% or more, or the ones that say hyperinflation is coming, or that say the entire system is going to collapse or whatever. Ignore all of that, and here's why. Over the past 2 decades, I've heard about a market crash multiple times every single year, and I mean, seriously, every single year, very rich people said the same exact thing. And honestly, they're all eventually right, but it takes them being wrong every year for a decade for this to actually happen, and you missed out on a fortune during the time if you would have listened to them. The truth is, there have been exactly 2 crashes in that time frame. The financial crisis, which nobody outside of Michael Burry had on their radar, and by the way, he was wrong with every other crash prediction before and since, but he did get that one right, I gotta give him credit there. And the other was the illness crash in 2020, which was on nobody's radar. So you have to forgive me for not believing the crash narrative that over the past 2 decades has been wrong, with the exception of one guy one time. And yes, every time they say,
"Yeah, I was wrong last time, but this time it's different."
well, here's the truth on that, even if this time is actually different. If you guess both those crashes we just discussed perfectly, and then you time the market perfectly, you are still behind those that just continue to invest consistently during the last 2-decade run. You are on the losing side when you do not invest consistently and instead try to time the crashes. The proof is there and the numbers don't lie. Second, if they are right and a meltdown is here and it's going to get a lot worse, I will be so pumped you might get me to dance on TikTok. Crashes are where fortunes are made, not huge bull runs. You don't go all in a hot market, which is exactly what the narrative that the media and some YouTubers will push, of course, when everything's at all-time highs. Sure, you continue to look for opportunities, and I do buy in hot markets, but it's not the time to go all in, and absolutely not where the best deals are. Think of all the people who did go all in at the beginning of last year when many of our favorite stocks were at all-time highs. And I was out there saying, slow down, don't buy until the valuations look a little bit better for stocks I personally love, like Tesla and Palantir, which both actually fell massively from those all-time highs at the time. And I was telling you to run from those penny stocks and other speculative stocks that was rampant at the time when every video was saying all in on everything. This meme up on the screen pretty much represents most investors and the narrative being pushed at that time, but it's nothing new and has been going on forever. The best time to go all in or to be more aggressive is when the market crash happens. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, let's look at a quick example. Apple stock could be had in the $3 range in the aftermath of the financial crisis in 2009 or so. And of course, that is split adjusted, what you are seeing there on the screen. And for those that bought, you were sitting on a 6,000% return, and most stocks don't return that in a lifetime, and you got that in about 11 years or so. And if you bought Apple again during the illness crash just a couple years ago, Apple could be had in the $60 range, meaning you are sitting on an almost 300% return in just over a year in freaking Apple, the largest market cap stock ever. This wasn't a high growth stock or a speculative play, it's freaking Apple, and my grandma even owns Apple, and I don't even have a grandma if that tells you anything. There are also many other stocks that crushed Apple in regards to return in that time frame too. I mean, it wasn't like they were the only ones. There's lots of stocks that beat Apple in that time frame. You always hear people say, I wish I would have bought that stock back then. Well, you are being given that opportunity right now during the current market. But I will be honest with you, buying in this type of environment is the hardest thing to do investing. I mean, you buy, and it doesn't just go down like 5%, it goes down like 15% or more after you buy with no end in sight to the pain. And then it runs up and you relax only to see it fall again even further than it fell before. It feels like you are shoveling money into a pit of fire, and all that hard work you put in working overtime or in your side hustle to buy this dip just completely disappears, it seems. So how exactly do you overcome this challenge? Well, I'll tell you exactly how I'm handling this challenge. I have a plan laid in that serves not only my stock goals, but my wealth goals, my retirement plan, and my overall life plan. And build one of those if you don't have one. I mean, we cover it in the group, but you can find it here on YouTube. Google it. I mean, just find the information and start there. You also need to have your cash position ready to go. I mean, I have roughly 30% in cash, and I have other instruments in place too if I need more cash, along with my money loops that consistently replenish my investing account. You will also need to know exactly what stocks you want to buy and know the price targets you want to buy at. In a crash scenario, you want to buy great stocks at undervalued prices, but you cannot do that unless you have done a real valuation on each stock, so you know exactly when a stock is on a great discount and then a super steal deal and then a super steal deal and so on and so forth. It is also imperative you are mentally prepared to lose in the short term to win over the long term. You cannot guess the bottom or time the market, and that has been proven over and over and again. I've been down 40% in the short term on positions I bought during past times just like this that I thought was a steal deal, but of course I was down 40%. Now today, that doesn't bother me much now at all, and I'm glad I held instead of selling at that loss. You have to keep the big picture in mind and understand the opportunity you have to buy now at prices that will look incredible in a few years, even if you don't buy anywhere near the bottom. And then finally, you have to actually execute your plan. I mean, you got to have the guts to pull the trigger. Plan for if you buy and it keeps dipping, what are you going to do? Understand it may not recover as fast as you want, so you got to be patient. You most likely won't buy and then be up 2 weeks later or even 2 months later. And the longer it stays down, always remember, the more you can add to great stocks at great prices. So when it runs back up, which it always does over the long run, you will have plenty of shares and get to enjoy the run up instead of having FOMO like most people will have who waited or listened to all the noise and all the warnings that I gave you. And if you don't know how to get a price target or a plan or analyze a stock and you want the step-by-step process to do that and much more, don't forget to lock in your discounted membership price using the link in the description or the pinned comment to join the group before that price goes up forever. And if you don't know what other stocks to consider buying, click this video right here for 9 stocks I've been buying like crazy, or click this video here for even more stocks I've been buying lately. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.